stack overview. And lately, we've seen the idea of observability also become more of a part of the core tenets of the company. So what's the deal with that?
Every day, people use Cisco U to bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be. Welcome to the Cisco Learning Network. Let us walk you through some of the powerful features available to the community. The personalized homepage is focused on featuring the content you follow and engage with on a daily basis, as well as the valuable learning resources offered to support you in your learning journey. The training videos section quickly helps you find IT training videos on a variety of technology topics to help you in your Cisco certification studies. Find listings for live IT training webinars and events that you can attend in person. Learn on the go and stay a part of the community wherever you are with a mobile-friendly experience. Your community hub allows you to easily ask questions, share ideas, and connect with other members as you prepare for your certification exams. Sign up for upcoming live technical webinars by checking our latest events listings for continuous lifelong learning. Let us be your resource, guide, and community as you continue your career journey. The Cisco Learning Network, your lifelong learning IT community.
So what are some of these benefits of certification? We talked about, is IT right for you? Is this is the kind of thing that you're getting into? But once you're in, why would you get certified? So you could learn the technology perhaps without getting certified, but why do you want to be certified? And we're going to go through a lot of these things in the slides coming up, and you're going to see how some of these words in this big word cloud here kind of fit in and really spell out that value for certification. But a lot of times it is show me the money. It's coming back to how exactly is this really going to benefit me? And just to let you know that the average US network engineer has a salary increase of 15% with certification. That's always going to vary, obviously, but that certified individual, and we'll see why, we'll talk about why in a few slides here, that certified individual does bring a lot of gravitas, and there is a need for that person, especially that person who is truly passionate and who's truly on that lifelong learning journey. And that is why certification is so valuable to employers and thus to us, the individuals. And that brings us to confidence. Once you have that knowledge, you're confident in when someone asks for your opinion, when someone comes to you and says, what is the best way? Or in your opinion, how do you think we should solve this? Or what solution should we go for? Or what technology should we use in this particular area? Your answer with that certification, with that credential, brings you exude that confidence, and you can say, well, in my certified and my expert opinion or my professional opinion, this is what we should do and this is why. And you can bring that why over there, and then people look to you to say, I trust this person, I will use them, they've brought me good answers in the past, they clearly know what they're talking about, they're a key and critical member to our team. And then there's that value. It is that 360-degree value. That's not just about what it does for you, because if it's giving you knowledge and it's giving you confidence, when you're in that interview, when you're doing that job, when you're putting out that metaphorical fire in the data center, you are more attractive to your organization, your knowledge, your skills, you're delivering instant value, which your employer says, this is fantastic. This person is someone who I can count on to deliver when we're tactically, when we're reactive. And I can also count on this person to be more forward thinking, more of a technologist. They bring up ideas, they bring up thoughts of how we can do things differently in our organization, how we can better use technology. And then no matter what organization, what company you're in, you have someone, some group of customers, some group of stakeholders, be it they're internal or they're external, and you bring value to them because you understand what they need, what they're going through, and how technology can be used to better improve that. So you're able to say, you know what, this is a challenge that our customers or users, let's use the word users, are seeing. This is how we might better improve that. That again goes back into that cycle, into that 360 degrees, where it's giving your employer back that value, because maybe now they're more competitive, they're making more money, they're delighting their customers. And then that's back to you because you look good in doing that. And that could lead to bonuses, lead to promotion, and that kind of thing. And something I want to point out, and I mentioned it before, that lifelong learning. We don't want to look at certification as the end of our journey. We don't want to say, you know what, I got certified, I'm good. We should always be learning. And that's one of the things about IT. I've been at Cisco now just over 23 years. I've liked this area of technology around operations, like network operations, including automation, programmability of networks. And that didn't really exist when I started. So certainly network operations existed, and we were using technologies like Telnet and SNMP and then SSH to kind of manage these devices. But we were doing it all very manually. We were connecting to device by device, and operations has greatly improved, or I would say innovated and transformed with this idea of net DevOps, or the bringing in of automation, bringing in of programmability into this. So even something as kind of basic as network operations has transformed over the years. And we're always seeing that this industry is always going to be changing. So if you like that change, if you like being part of this kind of forefront of how we are as a society are doing a lot of things now, this is the place for you. And you do have this opportunity to always be learning as you go, always be taking on those new skills. And Cisco, as part of our certification program, we have a program called Continuing Education that as you learn those new skills, you keep your certifications current, so you never lose that credential that's so valuable to you. So I hope you enjoyed this brief introduction to Cisco certifications. There's a lot more to come. You're on a fantastic journey. And I think if you're that person who likes being that agent of change, who likes solving those tough problems, who likes thinking like a detective, and who likes interconnecting people and things, you are absolutely in the right place. Thanks. I look forward to talking to you as a certified individual soon.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's session. My name is Carlo Bobilas, and I'll be your moderator. I'm pleased to introduce today's speaker, Cisco XDR Technical Marketing Leader, Engineering Leader, Oksana Sanikova. But before I hand over the mic, I do have a few housekeeping items to cover about today's session. Today's session will be recorded and made available for on-demand playback. Please be sure to stay tuned till the end for additional information. Also, we'd love to hear from you during today's session, so if you have a question for Oksana, please scan that QR code that's on the screen right now. We will also have a post-event Q&A thread over on the Cisco Learning Network where you can post any follow-up questions you might have. You can actually scan that QR code towards the bottom right corner of your screen. So without any further ado, I'd like to go ahead and welcome Oksana. Oksana, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for having me today, Carlos. It's always a pleasure to be presenting to such a large, wide audience. My name is Oksana Sanikova. As Carlos mentioned, I am leading the XDR team. Sorry, and today we will be talking about how we're leveraging AI in Cisco XDR. So let's dive right into it and look at some of the information I prepared for you today. I want to start by sharing the problem statement, basically, with all of you, that I think you would all agree that we definitely have a problem with huge, threats going on all the time. It's multi-vectors. It's the attackers are very sophisticated. It's very robust adversaries that we're dealing with on a global basis. But another problem that is underneath is resiliency, right? Being able to keep accessibility to our systems, to have them operational, to be able to run the business while we are dealing with attack threats. So the combination of these two problems really the top of mind, not only for security practitioners but for all of the IT practitioners around the world. So why it is still a large program. Like, we have all of those tools, right? For every new threat vector, there is new protection tool that is being created or developed. There's a lot of innovation in the IT market. So why we are still having this problem? The real thing is there are a lot of malwares. Let's take Volt iPhone, for example, that are not using only the malware, right? They're using legitimate tools. They're living off the land, leveraging techniques of benign tools that can be undetected or unnoticed, or can be used legitimately within the organizations, which lets attackers to get in. The attackers are using stolen credentials and legitimate remote access tools to get in, right? So this is why all of those different behaviors, there is still can be unnoticed, and attackers can still get into our environment and can still disrupt our business and our operations. Additionally, right, when they get in, they're able to move laterally, expanding the scope and expanding the impact of and it leading to theft of important important and critical assets and critical information for our organizations. And all of those tools that we're dealing with, right, once they produce the alerts in their siloed, standalone fashion, we get alert fatigues, right? Because there's just a lot of noise and a lot of signals that are coming in. So how to sort of find the needle in the haystack, right? How to find all those signals that really matters, correlate them into full picture, into full attack chain, to understand those signals are related from all of those different tools, and actually arrive to conclusions of something being malicious in our environment and act fast. So basically, this is what the problem is, like high level, but this is a huge and big problem for the organizations. And every customer we speak with, they share, like, this is what we want. This is the outcome that we want. We want to overcome alert fatigue, prioritize alerts faster. We want to correlate them into meaningful, being done that in an automated and accurate manner, to be able to arrive to decisions confidently and have automated and guided response capabilities, all within one environment, all within one tool. So essentially, this is the value proposition of an XDR solution. This is what an XDR, extended detection and response platform, is meant to bring to security operations, to become that efficiency tool that allow us to achieve these outcomes, right? By integrating all of those different signals, all of those different protection tools targeted to certain attack vectors, correlated together, confidently arrive to conclusion of maliciousness by leveraging detection capabilities and by providing guided and automated response actions from one single place to security operations. Now, with that being said, obviously attackers are leveraging AI. So the XDR solution also must be AI powered. We have to embrace the technology, we have to embrace the innovation and bring this innovation to our customers. So that's what we're going to be talking about here is I'll be touching base on certain features and functionalities and capabilities within Cisco XDR, how we are delivering this outcome, how we're delivering this value to our customers, what our solution can do, and what are the innovations we are working on and looking to deliver to our customers in a short-term future. So as we start looking at it, I would like to share just a high level what XDR is, right? Cisco XDR is. Essentially, we are gathering intelligence from all the different sources, right, with the mean to provide out-of-the-box solution for lean IT environments. We have curated integrations, right? So there is a big list of integrations and different third-party and Cisco solutions to integrate with. And we are leveraging different technologies, including AI technologies, to correlate and analyze and apply built-in detection logic on top of that. And additionally, we are integrating our XDR solution with the network. We have built-in network detection and response capabilities. We have built-in automation, orchestration capabilities in this platform to deliver everything from one place. So based on what I just talked about, this is kind of a high-level architecture, sharing some of the building blocks, some of the important components of Cisco XDR. It's definitely important to recognize the broad breadth of telemetry sources that are needed for efficient and successful XDR solution. So we are feeding telemetry sources from various Cisco technologies, including third-party technologies. We're very proud to claim this is an open XDR platform that we have, and we integrate with third-party tools. We feed in threat intelligence. We integrate with SIEM and SOAR platforms. But two important things that I want to talk about is our built-in threat intelligence capabilities with Talos, and then we'll touch base more on AI technologies and how we are bringing AI, how we are leveraging it at the back end, and how we are bringing it into our experience, right, for our customer experience as well. The key point for this solution is it is really targeted to be out of the box. There is very limited tweaking and tuning that is needed out of the box. Once you leverage curated integrations, you integrate everything and then by simplicity of the user interface and intuitivity, we are able to make it really an efficiency tool, not only for security operations, but also for the companies with lean IT, right? When there may be one person that has to deal with configuring the firewalls and looking after the network, and then looking at different threats. And oh, by the way, we want you to start investigating and responding to incidents and managing our identity, et cetera, et cetera. So there are a lot of those organizations that are really trying to use their resources efficiently, and they're very lean on their on the operational side. So this would be a perfect efficiency solution for this kind of organizations. So speaking of Talos, as I promised, Talos is our internal threat intelligence organization, which comprises of researchers, analysts, and engineers that are analyzing the data. You can see some numbers on the screen of the amount of threat intelligence and the volume of threat intelligence and data that they're able to absorb and produce, right, on a daily basis. We are very proud of this organization as they provide comprehensive threat intelligence coverage for the whole Cisco security portfolio, including Cisco XDR. Based on the threats they see globally across all of our customers, all of our users, at the global internet-wide scale, we are able to improve our detection capabilities. We're able to improve our threat intelligence feeds coming into each solution to detect the threats faster and more efficiency. So we basically do the job to be able to defend you better. And obviously, Talos is leveraging various AI technologies to automate their operations, to leverage algorithms for coming up with better detection, predicting threats, predicting detections capabilities that will be needed, and things like that. So that's essentially the core threat intelligence, building threat intelligence component across all of our Cisco security portfolio. Now, from AI perspective, how do we enhance user experience by leveraging AI technologies? There are three main pillars to that. First, we leverage AI to be able to bring in progressive disclosure capabilities. What this means is when we don't overwhelm the user, we don't overwhelm the analyst by throwing all of the data on them with all of the detections, all of the different signals and the alerts that are coming through XDR and things like that. We leverage AI technologies to analyze it, summarize it, correlate it, prioritize it, and bring only what really matters in front of the analyst in the right time, right? So progressively disclosing the information to the user as they advance through their threat investigation workflow. Then we leverage AI to bring additional information, ask additional questions to various integrated solutions, enrich initial signals with additional detections, providing guidance and suggestions on response actions and best practices, right? And being able to come up with the next steps in a contextual manner, right? And then finally, automation is this is where we are bringing in the AI assistant capabilities, which is in beta right now, to be able to walk security analysts through their incident response playbook. We're leveraging a SANS pickerel model, which is prepare, identify, contain, response, and learn, like lessons learned model for incident response playbooks. And this is the steps and the stages that the AI assistant will be able to walk the user through as the threat or incident is being investigated. So basically, what we hear a lot from customers is there are various levels of expertise that their security analysts have. Very often you can find interns or students manning night shifts in the SOC, right? So even for those early in career or early to cybersecurity, not experts in cybersecurity, I would say employees, these kind of techniques would allow them to quickly understand what's going on and quickly arrive to conclusion and be more efficient in their roles, as well as providing additional aid to a more experienced users to lift off all of those laborious repetitive tasks from them so they can really focus on providing the outcomes, right, and making decisions faster. Now, I want to show a few specific, deep dive into looking at specific features and capabilities of the platform right now. We're showing you some of the screenshots from our live environment and giving you some more specific examples. The first one we are looking here is how we're leveraging AI to analyze all of the detections and all the data and context of the incident and leverage different AI technologies to prioritize the incidents and coming up with a priority score. Now, if you break down this priority score, there is a intelligent component that allows us to calculate detection risk using MITRE information, right? What techniques and tactics has been involved with this incident? What are the potential financial risks of every tactic and technique that has been used and other things? What is the severity of every single detection associated with this incident and things like that? So we are applying AI and proprietary algorithms on top of that to come up with the detection risks. Then we correlate it with the asset value set up by our customers, and that allows us to arrive with the priority score. That allows customers, as they're working through the incidents, prioritize those with the higher score, look at what really matters, and eliminate false positives more efficiently. And as you can see on this slide, right, essentially the outcomes are breaking down here. We are able to see and pick the alerts from a risk and impact perspective, be able to see at what guidance regarding response actions is provided to you, and be confident in the verdicts that you're coming up for and decisions that are being made. So once we're looking at the incidents further, right, and we decided this is something we really want to investigate based on the risk information, we will be able to see leverage AI to summarize. Definitely, we want to provide humanly readable descriptions about what actually happened, rather than throwing a list of all those different detections and all those different events that are all potentially could be coming from different tools in different formats. So we normalize all of it, we run it through AI, we summarize that information, and we present it in front of the analysts in a digested, humanly readable form, so they can really understand the chain of events and what happened. So there are multiple plays, right? It's meaningful, readable titles, it's meaningful, readable descriptions, and then meaningful, readable, automated reports post-incident, as well as executive summary reports, which takes a lot of time to create. Actually, from what we know from our customers, very often it takes more time to document and produce post-incident report than investigate an incident itself. So by leveraging AI technologies, we are able to make security operations for our customers more efficient. Next feature I want to show you is the AI assistant. As I mentioned, we are leveraging Sans Pickerel model. An AI assistant will be able to walk the users, the security analysts, through all the steps of incident investigation playbook. Cisco XDR is flexible enough to leverage different rules, to apply different playbooks to the incidents based on different incident attributes. For example, if you have detections coming up from email solution, and we suspect this is a phishing, you can apply phishing investigation playbook to an incident, or you can apply different other incidents, right? You can escalate it right away, and so on. So this tool is robust enough to be able to apply different rules, to applying different playbooks, and AI assistant will be able to walk an analyst through step by step through the whole investigation, and also answer a certain question about the incident and other things as well. So that's what's currently in beta, and we have customers onboarding on it. If you would be interested in experiencing it, you can definitely request access to this beta functionality. Now, next I want to talk about apologies, certain things that are coming up soon. Amongst the things that are coming soon is additional agentic AI capabilities, right, that we are working on currently, and we will be bringing into our platform in the phased manner. The first thing that will be coming up is instant attack verification capabilities, and then soon, I mean, in the next 3 months. We're bringing automated forensics capabilities and attack storyboard functionality as well. So let's touch base on each of these features, each of these capabilities, and what outcomes and improvements they're bringing to our customers and their security operations. First, I want to talk about the instant attack verification capability. Now, all of these features are powered by AI and agentic AI. It's a simple explanation, as everyone probably know already, is leveraging all of those different agents to perform specific tasks that they can do well, right? And then having a general orchestration agent that will pull the results of that work and provide a more efficient outcome to the end user. Right. So what we are leveraging it here for is to analyze all of the alerts, right? To be able to eliminate false positive, quickly build the timeline to look forward into what the main scope and the impact of the event, as well as look backwards, identify what is the risk, what is the verdict, what are this impact of the malicious activity we're looking at, and come up with suggested next steps and best practices to implement to remediate and avoid certain risks in the future. So that's the first one, and we'll look at an example from our live environment shortly at how that actually looks like. The second capability is attack storyboard. So we're enhancing our UI to what I mentioned previously, right? To the same outcome that I mentioned previously, to bring the relevant information to the user in the right time so they can comprehend the attack and understand what's happening with this incident in our aspiration goal in 30 seconds, right? So that you can look at the incident, you can see right away uh, what the criticality, what the probability, what is the impact of the incident, what happened, and have all of that in a humanly readable form, as well as look at suggested next steps and the full timeline of the events from one single place without the need to pivot into other tools and solution, without the need to leave the screen you're looking at in the incident and things like that, to really make security analysts more efficient. So that's what we are working on right now, to bring that visual narrative to map all the detections and the attack graph to MITRE tactics and techniques, because MITRE is the common language, right? It explains you the tactics and techniques that are being used, which allows you to predict what could be next steps of the attacker, allows you to understand what is the scope and the criticality of the attack and things like that. And finally, a unified workflow to run investigation, right? Which really shortens the learning curve for security analysts. And we have, I believe, around, I mean, the cybersecurity shortage is incredible, and we definitely want to embrace technology for our security analysts to become more efficient. And then finally, I mentioned the new forensics capabilities that we are bringing in. What this allows us to do in collaboration with AI technologies, right, is to trigger forensics gathering from the endpoint before you even think you need that information, right? There will be new evidence tab where we will be able to collect evidence even from compromised endpoints, including all of the findings like register keys, memory dump information, activity, browser history, startup folders. There's like the list goes on and on, run orbital cores, etc., etc. It's a full-blown DFIR tool set that we are bringing into Cisco XDR. And by being able to leverage it in a guided and automated manner, we're really allowing users to understand and verify everything that I have seen in the first stages, all of that descriptions and explanations they have seen with the AI in the first stages, to really verify all of that information on the very deep level to confidently make their next steps. So as I said, this is progressive disclosure, right? We're high level surfacing the information first, and then as we dig deeper through what's going on, we are bringing more and more details to security analysts. So yeah, that allows us to build confidence to move to the next steps and make decisions faster. So next, I just want to show you the screenshots from our live environments of those three features as we are working on them at the moment and working on bringing them into production as I mentioned, in a phased manner. The first capability is, as I mentioned, is the instant attack verification, which will leverage AI technologies to do all of that analysis prior to analysts even opening an incident. So you can see right away, is it critical incident? What is the probability of that being a real threat or a false positive, right? Or is it a false positive? What really happened in a humanly readable form? What is the impact? Was there any data stolen, etc., etc.? So all of that will be surfaced right away as the analyst opens the incident and being able to look at that information. Remember, we are striving for 30 seconds attack verification, so that's what is happening right here. The next feature is my favorite one, where we are building this full timeline of events by taking the signals from all of the solutions that are bringing their information, bringing their events into XDR, right? So you don't have to pivot to your firewall, you don't have to pivot to your endpoint solution, et cetera, to find those alerts. They're all being fed into XDR, correlated, and now by leveraging AI technologies, we're able to build them into a timeline of events for you. Building the timeline is one of the early steps that the security analyst has to accomplish when they start investigation of the incident, right? It allows them to look forward, as I mentioned, from the first incident or from the first alert to build the timeline forward, what happened after that, right? And also build the timeline backwards by finding additional breadcrumbs and evidence of information to see where they actually came from, where was initial compromise, where was initial access. So that's what the timeline is meant for. Here we are looking at an example of a spear phishing attack. It's a classic spear phishing attack, which is based on MITRE and genuinely emulations that we ran in our environment. Here we see that the user has downloaded a malicious file, right? They downloaded actually the PDF that contained a link. When they clicked on the link, they download the malicious file. Once they executed this file on their system, they triggered PowerShell execution that led to downloading second stage of attack that led to execution and infecting a benign process, right? The process hollowing technique, which was actually, this is where the actual breach happened, right? And after that, the system connected back to a command and control server that attacker owns on the same attacker network, as you can see right here, which led to attacker gaining access to the system, being able to steal credentials using keylogger, gain access to the system and exfiltrate data through the remote access Trojan tool that they installed in the second stage of the attack. Now, I'm just briefly explaining you because we ran the emulation, right? And I'm just explaining you the steps, but essentially what you can see here is they're all broken down and written here in the timeline by leveraging information about those individual detections, correlating them, and then applying AI to put it all in a meaningful and human readable form. So that's essentially what we're trying to achieve, to make it so even a junior non-cybersecurity domain experts can efficiently and meaningfully make decisions based on this information. Speaking of decisions, we are also providing recommendations on what could be the next steps and the best practices that can be implemented to remediate and avoid this kind of threats in the future, which is part of those recommended actions that we're generating. And then from forensics perspective, once we've looked at all of the information, we looked at all of the signals that has been analyzed and evidence that has been collected, we can further verify it by diving into the endpoint forensics. That was already collected for us, right, when the incident was detected. So the first piece we are looking at here is information about the file, PDF file that has been stored on the platform. And when we look at where this file came from, it came from the Outlook, right? So that allows us to make this conclusion. This has been really a phishing attempt, right? And the PDF with the malicious link actually came through the email that the user has opened and executed upon. And then the next example I want to show you is by further analyzing the findings and the evidence that was collected here, we were able to find persistent attempts and tactics that would allow the attacker to stay in the system, even if we remove the malware and other things. They have been able to create certain links in the startup folder to be able to bring the malware and install it and download and build the command and control channel back after the system cleanup and reboot. So we're able to collect all of that information here. So as you can see, that functionality from one side makes Cisco XDR more easy and efficient to use. From the other side, it brings the necessary depths to the platform for that to be a really robust solution. Next thing I want to talk about is the importance of data sources. So obviously, for all of that to work, for all of that AI, great technology and innovation to work, we need the source data, right? We need those original events. And this is what we are bringing into Cisco XDR by integrating with various endpoint platforms, right? We're really, our mission was and is still to build an open XDR. We made strategic decisions right from the beginning, and the commitment. And this is actually the first third-party integrations that we brought in to Cisco XDR 2 years ago when it was launched, was integrating with third-party endpoint detection and response platforms such as CrowdStrike, CyberReason, Microsoft Defender, Palo Alto, SentinelOne, Trademark, Micro, etc., etc. So we recognize the importance of the endpoint telemetry. This is why we are open it up. We do have our own EDR platform, as you may know, but we made strategic decision to allow our customers feed in telemetry regardless of what solution they need, because it is critical for XDR efficiency. Next, you see that we're feeding email telemetry, including Cisco and third-party solutions as well. Feeding network telemetry is critically important as well. This is what security siloed solutions usually or very often lacking. So we're feeding network telemetry from our own security solutions, but also from third-party solutions that you see listed in here, and firewall solutions as well. Why it is important? Because it allows us to augment and fill the gaps between different signals and detections that we are getting from endpoints, being able to understand the full scope, the lateral movement, the impact, the catch the exfiltration, right, and persistence mechanisms that can be unnoticed and will lead to reinfection and repeat of the incident in the future. So network telemetry is critically important for a successful XDR platform. We do have built-in network detection and response platform with our Cisco XDR, which is cloud-based, which allows us to feed NetFlow, Syslog, cloud logs, right? Those raw logs, and apply detections on top of it, and correlate it with detections that we are getting from other systems like endpoint solutions, email solutions, firewall solutions, etc. So I hope I was able to show you that Cisco XDR is really a robust and open platform, integrating with different data sources, applying threat intelligence on it, applying AI technologies on top of it. One additional thing I want to cover is just breaking down by what features and functionalities are available with what licensing tier. There is an essential license, which is full-featured XDR with ability to integrate with Cisco security portfolio and Talos and third-party threat intelligence sources. With Advantage, which is the most popular tier we have, it additionally allows to integrate with third-party tools like those EDR platforms and emails, etc., that I mentioned. And then with Premier tier, you will also be getting detection and response, extended detection and response managed service capabilities that are driven and delivered by Cisco customer experience group. You're also able to acquire Cisco XDR as part of the breach protection suite, along with our Cisco security solutions, right? Not only a la carte as a standalone solution. So it was both delivered as a standalone, as a part of a breach protection suite. And finally, I just want to reiterate and recap everything that we have talked about in the session, right? It is very important to bring variety of sources, both endpoint and network telemetry are foundational, foundational for a successful Cisco XDR platform, which means that it will provide a full attack view and attack coverage, both from endpoint perspective and network perspective, right? Correlate everything into one place. To be able to leverage that information about all of that information to identify the criticality of the attack more accurately, and also be able to make response actions faster across network and endpoint. Secondly, Cisco XDR is a truly open and unified platform, right? I talked about the openness of our integration platforms. We have built-in network detection and response platform. We have built-in security automation, orchestration, and response platform with this solution. And very soon, one thing that I want to kind of sneak peek you and pre-announce here is very soon we will announce an open framework that will allow us to ingest custom events from other integrations which are not Cisco curated and correlated with other sources. So what we are working on right now is delivering custom event ingestion, which will make it a truly open platform across the board. And then finally, once we have all of that information, we have all of that threat intelligence, all of those events, and all of those integrations that we can drive actions through within one XDR platform, we will apply all of the AI innovation and technologies on top of that to drive the user experience, to make it really a turnkey security solutions, working out of the box with very limited tweaking required, with progressive disclosure, with instant attack verification, with fast and easy detections and correlations, and built-in out-of-the-box response actions and playbooks. So really, really make it an efficiency tool. So the bottom line message here, Cisco XDR is an efficiency tool for security operations or network and security operations center, which we highly encourage you to look at if you haven't yet done so. So if you want to learn more, if you want to really try it in the hands-on exercises, in the hands-on workshops, or an interactive workshop, we encourage you to sign up for an Art of Defense workshop, where we will have a deeper dive into best practices, into different tactics and techniques that can be used for security operations, and have and applied exercises with Cisco XDR, allowing you to look at the tool yourself and make your own decisions based on your own experience. With that, I would like to thank everyone for your attention, and we can move into a Q&A section. Carlos, do we have any questions?
All right. Thank you, Oksana. Let's see if we do get any questions. I didn't see anything come in, but again, if you'd like to participate live, go ahead and scan that QR code that's on the screen now so we can get your questions answered live. Okay. So give it a sec. One of the common questions I do normally see while we're waiting for additional questions to come in is the session actually being recorded? And yes, it is being recorded. The actual link to the recording, we'll post that in the post-event discussion thread. So scan that QR code that's on the bottom right corner of your screen, and you can participate with additional questions after the session, as well as pulling up the recording. Okay. Doesn't look like there's any additional questions.
Some of the common questions I get in this in sessions like that or from customers when we're talking about Cisco XDR is what are the key data sources we want to make sure we integrate with Cisco XDR. I briefly mentioned it, but I want to reiterate. The first common data source which our customers identify. I mean, the list I'm going to share with you right now is based on our research, our customer interviews, and also on the statistics that we see in our production environments across all of the customers and their integrations right now. The first most common data source is endpoint detection and response system. The second most common data source is network telemetry. The third one is DNS security, and then which recently went down to the fourth place, with identity being the third one. We kind of didn't talk about identity a lot in this session, but this is another angle and another attack vector that has become very critical in the last couple of years. And we're certainly covering that vector in Cisco XDR by bringing in identity intelligence too. That's one of the most common questions I get. And then the other one I usually get is regarding automations. Do we provide automation workflows? Do we provide out-of-the-box playbooks to be able to respond? Do we have capabilities to respond to events from one single place in Cisco XDR? And the answer is definitely yes. We do have a library of workflows, which is called Automation Exchange, which is also built into Cisco XDR, but you can get an external access to this environment if you're not, even if you're not an XDR user, to see all integrations and all of the automations, and kind of search for that library and see what capabilities are included with each integrations and so on. So I'll make sure I include those links in the deck when I share it for publishing.
Thank you, Oksana. We did have a question come in. Let's see. Can the XDR agentic AI take actions such as isolating endpoints?
This is the goal. Yes, this is the goal, to be able to leverage agentic AI to take actions based on suggested actions, right? And based on the incident response playbook that is being used by the organization. We do have the workflows that are integration agnostic, which means is you just choose the action, isolate the endpoint, and then there is a baked logic to figure out what is the endpoint protection solution you have integrated in this environment. Find the endpoint based on different endpoint attributes of the endpoint associated with the incident, and then be able to leverage those response actions with that specific solution. But from the user experience perspective, it just looks as one-click action. All of that logic and decisions behind the scene are being made automatically by Cisco XDR. So the answer is yes.
Awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Does it look like we have any other questions? Doesn't look like we have any other questions. Oksana, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to present, and I always have fun. As you can see, I'm very passionate about Cisco XDR. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I always respond to all inquiries. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Oksana, and thank you to our panelists and the whole team for bringing your knowledge to the Cisco community. Again, if you have a question, do scan that QR code to participate. You can also scan the bottom right corner of your screen. That QR code will take you to the post-event discussion over on the Cisco Learning Network, where we will link today's recording along with the PowerPoint. We'll turn it into a downloadable PDF so you can download that. All right. Let me go ahead and just want to start a survey. We do encourage you to scan that QR code and go to the post-event discussion survey. And let me get that live. Give me one sec. Perfect. So it's live. Let us know how we did. Your feedback is important, and we look forward to reviewing them. So again, we want to thank everyone for joining us today, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.